me?
No, I laugh at my.
laugh at him.
You do.
All you hear is.
Because I was at an interventions meeting in Oakland County. 3 people had it the whole time, and you could see that no one was listening at the. We were all watching the Google eyes. All right. Is this everybody? Or? That's Hello Kitty stuff. You can move that scale all the way in. So.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand because I don't want to be in this.
I know it wasn't. I should have a conference room, but sorry.
Okay, Maria, you can sit.
I stand for a living, so.
I used to sit.
Yeah, go ahead and have a seat.
No.
I'm okay. If you want to sit in the view,
You get the dust seat right next to me.
I'm okay.
All right.
So
Business for business.
we're just.
I also have some of my P4 students with me today to kind of help, with other fun ideas. So we've got Patrick, he's from Wayne State's pharmacy program, and we got Miss Andrew from U of M. Oh yeah, you're P2. So these are our future pharmacists too. So
Cool. Cool. You guys dress up for us?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm the group leader. I should really yell at everybody for not dressing up.
Oh no, everybody, where you at?
this is part of the curriculum. They're supposed to look, but you can tell that Maria doesn't. I'm always, if I could wear scrubs, I would. Oh shit, pharmacists.
That might help the image, you know.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, she's in scrubs. This place is.
So
That's
cute.
actually an interesting idea.
Wow. Yeah.
Maybe that might make us part of the medical field.
Maybe. Everyone wears scrubs.
How about
They sell
we
them
just-
at Barnes and Noble, don't they? On like the second floor. Somebody gets some scrubs. Just walk
Yeah, but if
around.
you think about it, who actually purchased it? Not pharmacy, PT would, right?
Yeah.
PAs.
The nurse students. And
Yeah. That's look at that.
That's
Good
it.
brainstorm. Maybe that'll be our new
That's all
costume.
you gotta do. That's the one thing.
That's what they do at Walgreens.
What color though? See, I
Light
have to
blue,
make it black
Walgreens.
because I don't look good in anything else other than black.
Black scrubs. Just black scrubs. You can get
I've
black.
never seen black scrubs.
I know that's what I'm saying. I always see massage therapists in black.
Just go to like Michael's and get some dye and put it in your washing machine and it's set.
Got it. Okay.
That's no problem.
All right.
I hope you didn't have that on video.
It's on.
It's on.
Nobody will watch this stuff. It's fine.
Okay. Two. So what do you got for me?
Okay, so first of all, I'm married. Great to meet you.
Nice to
Finally.
meet you too. Yeah.
I'm the group leader. And you haven't seen Ernest or Sean yet.
Yeah, you
There's one person you haven't seen, but
Okay.
she can't make it today.
Okay.
Anyway, we just want to pretty much fill you in on what's going on. So this is a marketing research project. So we really have a lot of ideas for like advertising for you, but we can't actually go to that portion of it, unfortunately. So basically, right now,
But I'll take it after class.
right now, what the step one we have to do is to get an approved proposal paper, which means that we have to write it, submit it, and then actually get it approved, and then you actually have to approve it too.
Okay.
But we can't give it to you to show you until our professor approves it. So that's
Okay.
going to be in about a week and
Okay.
a half or so, and then we have to present. And the final presentation, we have to invite you
Okay.
to come and see it as well. It's going to be
Yay.
Thursday afternoon. So right now, I think what we have to do is test out a hypothesis.
Okay.
And the 2 planned tests that we have is a survey for a couple hundred of students on campus or
Around,
around.
Okay.
just in the local area, and
Okay.
possibly business. We're not sure yet.
Hang out at Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, kind of like that.
As much as we
Like
can.
check out residence halls. We were thinking. Check out like even the gym if that would be an ideal
Okay.
target too.
Oh, yeah.
Things just like ideas like that we're looking at.
Okay.
And then the next one is we're gonna try to conduct a focus group.
Okay.
Yep. And basically, what we have for our hypothesis right now is that there's a lack of brand.
Brand awareness at least. And I think you agree with that.
Yeah. Obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
For pharmacy wise, post office, everyone knows
Yeah.
what we are. So just stick with pharmacy.
Okay. You're co-leader.
Whatever. So yeah, relax. So yeah, we think there's clearly a lack of awareness,
Uh-huh.
and we're wondering why. We're thinking it could be issues with branding. It could be like types of products you offer. Maybe differentiate that stuff.
Uh-huh.
We'll look into if there would be a market for that stuff.
Right.
So we'll go into all of that. We'll look into all that, and then we'll give you recommendations and stuff. We're not going to actually do the advertising.
Right.
That's not going to be our part.
Exactly.
But yeah, we're going to be hopefully finding the issues at least. Maybe it is location. Who knows? It could be. We'll look into all that type of
Okay.
stuff.
All right. Are you going to include also, in terms of like marketing and outreach, I'm trying to figure out how people find, like students or faculty, what's on campus?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be. We're going to put it into awareness. Label awareness, and we'll.
Okay. Project awareness.
Yes, and then the focus group should give us ideas. We're probably I'm thinking maybe get some current customers and some non customers and hear what they would maybe like from a pharmacy like this, and that'll be hopefully helpful to give us ideas for types of things that you'll need.
Right. That was kind of the idea of how I ended up bringing the snacks in. But when we brought the snacks in, my next problem was advertising it. Because we got to remember, even if I pay rent here on campus, I can't solicit. So I have to be backed by a student organization or someone. How do you get?
Participate in student organ, by any chance?
Hey, how are you? The only student organizations I'm directly here. It's more of the pharmacy side, but not really. I
know they have a medical table. They do have like different tables for that.
Yeah, a lot of the pharmacy students will do it, and the hardest part is I can always work with the pharmacy students to do it, but the hardest part is depending on what the table is, you can't just like throw in like, hey, because I also want to keep the organizations to their whole track this, but at the same time, I can't just advertise on my own, and that's the hardest part for me. I can't go in pipeline by myself and talk about the rapid diagnostic testing that we do. So.
Now, we were actually surprised to learn, Mary, you saw a university pharmacy.
Yeah, it's in Structure 6. There's a printed advertisement.
Yeah, there are some people on campus, some faculty, that believe that it's okay. You'll find that they'll probably be taken down in a week, and some of my faculty friends will just put it back up.
Okay. I thought it was down, then it was up again.
Yeah, exactly. And some of my faculty people that think it's crazy that I pay rent but I can't market will do it on their own. But what happens is someone had done that along all the elevator doors in one of the parking structures, and then I got a call because what happens is facilities, when they have to pick up the garbage, it's considered soliciting. And then I got a warning that next time they do this, I get a fine. So
Well, I just wonder
Both sides of the
why.
law.
I know.
Why does Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah, why
allow
would
to? They have
I'm sure I thought that was funny how they were able to do that. I'm sure because they're more corporate-wise, I'm sure there's some funding behind the scenes, just like we're a Pepsi campus. There's a big donation,
Sure.
which is why Coca-Cola can't be on campus, right? I'm sure behind the scenes there's some sort of it. I don't know if they're part of the food industry too, because you got to remember, like Einstein, Starbucks, they're all the same food. So the one thing that obviously sells here is corporate brand name, like we talked about, and food. So yeah. So it's interesting that you brought that up, because when I saw that, like Wayne State runs on Dunkin', I'm like,
They wouldn't even let you like advertise all over the pharmacy school.
someone has to agree to it. So, and that's the hardest part, is the buy-in for that, because even the pharmacy school, even if someone, let's just say the faculty or the dean thinks it's a great idea, then they get challenged on another end. Like yesterday, we had met the person who can put us on Blackboard until they found out that I am a realtor. I mean, not a realtor, that, I am a tenant. They're like, oh yeah, because if I allow it for you, that means I allow everybody to do it. So she, but she has authority to put me on Blackboard, but she can't. And she loves what we serve, but she's like, oh, but if I do it for you, I got to do it for everybody else. But again, the difference is I pay rent, not Best Buy. So, but yeah, so the hardest part with pharmacy is even if I got the dean to agree with it or someone writes off on it and we get backlash from someone else, guess who gets to carry that burden? So of course, everyone's afraid of the politics or the organizational setup, Yeah. Aren't you glad you took this assignment?
Yes, we are.
Crap.
Yeah, no. I think we're pretty good on the
I know you guys are.
Yeah. There's one group that doesn't even have an actual company.
Oh.
It's an idea.
It's an idea.
Oh, okay.
So, at least we have
This is an idea too. We just got to make sure everyone understands
And
it.
you're on campus. You know, we don't have to drive. You know,
Oh, okay.
downtown or anything.
Yeah,
So at least
that's
from
true.
a working
We
standpoint.
just have to stand during our meetings.
After class, you're not having.
Yeah.
No, it's not a bad project. We'll be all right.
Good, I'm glad.
Other questions we have. Do you think targeting students would be the ideal, really,
Honestly, I think students
and faculty?
see. My original business plan, if I ever found it for you, was that I left the students out of the picture because I figured that they were the most transient, and I wasn't going to get them because the truth. Don't take this the wrong way, but you know, you guys are still used to parents.
Yeah.
Taking care of your business. You know, I thought faculty and staff would be a little more responsible, and it'll help their time management. But I found that it's easier for me to get in touch with the students versus the faculty.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But then the problem that I run into the students too is, you know, like they know that if they have a copay, that mom and dad will pay for it when they go home.
So that's other things we'll definitely look into. Like, I think then that's definitely an idea. We need to at least see why staff won't come, or if they do, or
And I
Get
think
more
a
of them.
part of staff is awareness too. You know, they have no idea that we're here, considering we always look like we're permanently closed because of how dark the windows are. It's not a food. You know, we also don't have an end use. Like Dunkin' Donuts probably is most of the foot traffic, but now that they have 2 doors, most of the campus uses the other door, right?
Mhm.
Versus the one on Anthony Wayne. So.
Do you know how many like staff are on campus to target? Approximately.
There's supposed to be 6,000 insured lives
Okay.
here on campus. Foot traffic wise, these are old data, but what I've always gone through is 6,000 insured lives and at least 10,000 students.
Okay.
And the question, and the thing is, a lot of our dorms and resident living is up, right? They're all at full capacity, so I think that might be our first target market. But it's the same thing, like with our rapid diagnostic testing. We've spoken to the RAs to put the signs up on each of the floors, but then the RAs, when they agreed to it, they needed approval from someone. And for me, it was business operations, and we have yet to hear back from business operations. So it's interesting. I purposely didn't pay rent this month, and I got the call for it. I go, oh yeah, I was waiting for you to call me. So
Of course they call.
Yeah. and you know, those are some of the games that we have to play with, you know. But and you know, he's like, oh yeah, I have to look into that again. I go, see what I mean.
That's good.
But yeah, so I have a lot of people that are willing to help, but then when it comes down to it, when they start to realize I'm not part of the university, they're like, oh, here comes the red tape again. We need someone to authorize it.
Mhm.
So
What does it take to become part of it? Is that like a huge donation, like you said?
I think that might be it. I think because the campus, see, that's the other thing that I'm trying to figure out. Because the campus nurses next door, it's a separate entity also. They're not part of Wayne State, but they're well embraced. You know, we know that part of your tuition goes towards it. You guys know that you have free visits, right? That's why you have your free visit, because your tuition is towards it. And I've even suggested that however the channels are, I was trying to figure out the business development lines for how they got in with, you know, DOSO and how all the students are aware of them. Because I also know that there's a lot of students who don't have insurance, like our Canadians, like our student athletes. And if our Canadians, if they get sick over there next door, they have to pay cash here. They should have there should be some money funds set up for students with no prescription coverage. So, but I haven't figured out the whole business level executive decisions for why the campus nurses are well embraced, but the pharmacy isn't, and we're both independent entities.
Have you talked to them about that?
We have, the problem is some of the nurses next door also consider us as a threat or possible because...
Isn't it separate though? Isn't it separate?
It is, and the reason why I think we shouldn't be a threat to each other is they're only allowed to see students. They're not, they have no, we practice both the same way. We need a physician's order to practice the way we do, okay? So that's the difference right now that they don't practice on their own. They can only see students. I can treat faculty, students, and anyone on the street that wants to walk in.
Okay.
So when we talk about the idea of immunizations, doing strep throat or influenza screening, so let's say we have a faculty member, you know, who can't set up their times to leave work, match their schedule with their doctor's office. They can come in here, we can swab them. If it's positive, we can treat them with a collaborative practice agreement. Just like a student could do that next door. So in theory, it's the same, except we actually are opening up to the community. So if you look at Wayne State's mission, right, how we aim high or higher, whatever it is, we're supposed to be able to develop the whole community to come the same way.
Mhm.
Right? But for some reason, I'm just not being embraced that way. And I think a large part of it that Patrick and I were talking about was the fact that when you hear pharmacy, you don't think pharmacy the way that I'm practicing now. But this is the future of the pharmacy profession, is to kind of bridge and transition that healthcare issue of, do you really need to take time off from school or work to match your plans with your doctor's office, right, visits, get in and then get to a pharmacy to be treated versus just walking in, being able to be treated, walk out and go on with your life. So someone had said it's almost like urgent care, but same thing, urgent cares are mostly run by physician's assistants, which are also run by physicians. So if you look at urgent cares, nurse practitioners and pharmacists, we all still practice under a physician's order. So, but why pharmacists aren't? You might have had that answer. Scrubs. It's our image. Because by school, you guys have to dress like this. Because when I grade them, I have to grade that they're actually professionally dressed. And it's really funny because I'll wear jeans tomorrow. So that kind of shows a difference, and you might have actually started with the first image. But will the pharmacy schools agree to it? Of course not.
When I think of pharmacy, I think of the white coat. Maybe shirt has a white coat.
Right. But what do you think of for doctors?
It's almost the same thing, but with scrubs under the white coat.
And same with your nurses, and yeah. So I guess those are the things that we have to break down when we think of marketing, is like what's also, I don't know, I think it's an image that we obviously have to break out of, and it's really hard because everyone notoriously thinks of pharmacy as CVS, Walgreens.
Drugstore.
Right, you go in, you get a piece of toilet paper, some alcohol at the same time, and let's go, Right? You come in here, you're like, what is this? Does that answer it?
Definitely. Can they offer prescriptions over there?
They can't. They can just prescribe.
Okay, and you can though, which is slightly okay.
Exactly.
But you don't. It's not like you support it to a full extent. So
exactly, and their mentality also right now, because of what we just talked about, some of the students who can't afford, let's say, their prescription copays, they'll wait to have their parents get it, or if they know it's free, because like Myers, they'll give out antibiotics for free still, or if it's $4 or $8 like at Target. Obviously, as an independent, I can't match free or $4. They'll send them that direction. And my argument to that is one of two things. One, they're already not feeling good. Two, they got to get in their car and drive. And the last and the most important thing is, when's the last time you went to Myers or Target and only bought that prescription?
True.
So in theory, they're really saving money if they just went next door and paid about $2 extra. They can go home, sleep, go back to class, and do whatever. That's my opinion.
It's like it would really be $2.
It's a difference of $2, yeah.
So it's nothing.
And to me, I think a lot of students would rather spend right.
It's convenience.
Yeah, but then we also know as in marketing, free or a free T-shirt will get someone to go, right?
That's true.
So
It's too bad that they wouldn't want to work with you so like they can prescribe medication to get it filled here.
and we still we do have a steady flow too, but I would like to say about 25% of their patients will go towards somewhere that's more free, or if they feel that if it's more influenza type stuff, that they feel like they want to keep them away here because they feel there's a threat of I'll touch them.
Yeah.
And the hardest part for them is it's also still a business model. So in order for them, they have to see X amount of patients so that they can survive their business model.
Yeah.
And for me,
You're a competitor, I guess. Right?
and I don't see myself as that. Because the way I look at it, okay, fine, you see the students, I'll take care of the prescriptions, but they're also not that busy too. They probably see about 30, 40 students a day.
Yeah. It would be huge too if you could get tied in with the university like that for like flu shots and stuff like that. Like we were talking, like we think it would be huge because they would just come here and be included in their tuition, and you could still get
And that's what I was trying to figure out is that business model. Where does that fall in? And I haven't been able to see that chain of events. Like who do I need to talk to or to connect those dots? But some of the leadership or board of governors here, they also see pharmacy as retail. It's like it's not fully embraced yet. We do all the immunizations for all the faculty here on campus. We've directly contracted with the insurance companies where we will be for like 2 weeks on campus. We'll come to the buildings and everyone will do mass clinics for the families. But even then, I can't market on my own unless Wayne State does it for the 2 weeks. So that's another challenge. And all of a sudden, the CDC, January, February, okay? They start saying, get a flu shot if you have it. And I'll be like, who wants to send out the email? You know, who wants to do the pipeline? Like, hello, hello. You know, it would be great. It was on the electronic board of the parking structures. You know, but even I've actually met one of the people who has authority to do that, and they said the same thing. You know, you're not part of the university. I can't post it. But I'll be honest, when H1N1 was here, they had no problem saying that we had it because University Pharmacy was on the pandemic committee for the city of Detroit. And so when the pandemic committee started here at Wayne State, they actually asked me to join. And they had no problem marketing for University Pharmacy for H1N1. So they do understand the need for it when there's a full pandemic.
So there's nothing quite like a virus outbreak.
Yeah.
Spread word of mouth is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
We'll get on that.
So you just run around and like
Yeah, disinfect some people.
put it in the post office stuff, right? And just mix it out. Just kidding. Just
Spray that. It'll fall in the
sounds familiar. I know. I know it's in episode 24. So yeah, so that, I mean, Wayne State does get it if push comes to shove, but on a regular basis, most of them is, you know, they'll come back and be like, well, we offer it to you, we got to offer it to everybody else. My response has always been, yeah, but the difference is I pay my rent. They don't, you know.
Oh, that's lit.
Yeah, exactly. So remember that when you guys go into all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so next up is branding issues, we think. Candy in there. Why?
The truth is, that's not what I want to do because my big bulk is health and wellness. But our idea is once we got into having that and having a whole ream of people, I wanted to start putting up signs for nutrition labels so that we are not just talking about diabetes and health and management and how to eat properly, but as students come in, that we'll be able to show them how to read nutrition labels, how much sugar, carbs, and start rolling out different types of education.
Would you offer other healthy products?
Yeah, definitely. But right now, my goal was to anyone who crams and studies at night, you know, the comfort food of any college student, whatever they want. But eventually, my whole idea of bringing them in is to two things. There isn't a grocery store really, so trying to keep everything on campus. It also is a 33% markup. So that is definitely shown some increase in revenue. But ultimately, once everything's settled down, I wanted to include nutrition labels so that they can start understanding and having better choices in food snacks. And sodium
It just seems to go like against.
Oh, it
against,
does.
like
Absolutely.
we didn't understand. We just don't.
No, absolutely.
Okay.
But when it came down to finances, I started thinking like, okay, what else can I bring in that's going to increase more revenue? And the truth is, it's a 33% markup, which is a lot more than filling prescriptions. So right now, prescriptions are about 5% if I'm lucky.
You'd be able to still portray the prices if you were, say, a part of Wayne State, or does Wayne State kind of like, because I know it's like other places, they market like pizza, $3 for a slice of pizza.
Yeah, we could with that. When we first had just our front, you know, basic tools, you know, like combs or hand clips, this before Barnes and Nobles used to be on this corner, right? And they used to sell it at like $6, $7, and we'd have it too. But that didn't help because not a lot of people knew I was here. So I'm also against the idea of airline prices. You know, I remember being a college student. I work with college students all the time. You know, I don't like being, you know, even I myself as a consumer. But the thing is, that goes again with the prescriptions. You know, I can't, the highest I can do is like $8, $9. But if someone else is doing it for free, I can't compete with that. But our sundries out there are decently priced, like you were to get it. You know, it's probably a little cheaper, so I could probably make it a 50% markup. But the truth is why do that? You know.
One of the things we did touch on is, do you ever consider any kind of referral program? Any customers that could bring friends in or something like that?
No, I haven't. That's not a bad idea too, like a loyalty card program or something like that. That's not a bad idea.
Like for every 3 students you bring in, you get X amount of set sundries or something.
Yeah,
like that.
free candy bars. It goes against my health and health. Yeah. No, that.
Good free candy bars. I'm sure kids would be lining the streets.
Yeah.
I'd be here.
Yeah, definitely.
How about general population, just not students, not faculty? How much do you get now?
Not a lot, actually. I contemplated getting in touch with the Sheldon Apartments. I understand that's where most of our faculty live on campus. A couple of the residents, but the hardest part of me wearing all the hats here, it's almost impossible for me to actually dedicate time to do that end of the marketing.
Okay.
I do have 2 or 3 faculty members that actually live in that area, and they'll take some flyers up, and they'll let me know, oh, we need a couple more.
Do you have current customer, like a decent percent of like
faculty? No.
Or non-faculty, non-student.
The local community that does come in here, I usually don't fill though, because those are the ones that are looking for the drugs that you hear on the news. So if I do, I mean, I have 2 families here that we fill for because their kids come here, you know. But the reason why we do well with it is the kids are actually on chronic medication, and they just, you know, as I get to know them, they start telling the parents. Long story short, their parents call me because now we do direct billing for the students, you know, where the parents have to phone in their credit cards and all that. So that's how, you know, that's the other piece of bringing outside community in is kind of take care. But most of the time, most of the community that comes in, unfortunately, are the ones that other chains. I wouldn't have a problem with other chains filling their prescriptions.
Okay. Yeah, we were thinking of going after that, but I don't think that would be. You're on campus,
Yeah.
so it's,
Well, the hardest part with that was when I first opened up, and you know we haven't touched base on this for the students, is that when you first come in and you see everyone on pain medications, the street medications that you know of, your Oxys and Vicodin, if you don't know the population, you can't read them or judge them by the book. You know, so originally speaking, we did start filling some of them until you start to see the real cases, but I could accept the community and kind of have a turned eye to it, but the truth is we know it's going to bring in break-ins. I also have 11 floors of kids above me, and you know they're going to break in when we're not here, but guess how many students are walking around here?
Sure.
So I also did it more on security information too, and I also worked with public safety during that time after I started to realize, like, yeah, not a good idea, because you know what? They don't have a problem paying $1,000, $2,000 upfront cash. You know, you weren't seeing credit cards. So that was the population I wasn't interested in.
okay. Mission statement. Do you have one?
Yes, I do. I can email to you. I don't know it off the top of my head. It's nicely
You
printed.
need to know it. See,
I know.
this is branding stuff.
Is it displayed anywhere?
I know.
Okay. Might help.
Okay.
Yeah. Let people know that you're.
It changes all the time. You mean there's some words over there? Well.
Insert mission statement. Yeah.
Okay. We'll print that nicely. Good idea. So yeah.
It's just to get. I mean, it's hard to find. It's hard to see the image that you. We know that you believe it, but if you're to walk in, how can?
How do we know?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
and that's what we think is the main issue so far, and we'll have to research it and see if that really is, if that's true.
That actually might be it too, because then in some of my business competitions and some of the networking, I'm finding that as soon as I use the word pharmacy, people have no idea what I do. So, but yeah, I think sometimes it's the word pharmacy. I've even considered renaming my pharmacy, you know, but I don't know.
That's we mentioned that. We said maybe not university pharmacy and health and wellness.
Yeah.
The
University.
whole health and wellness.
Yeah.
Environment health.
The way we were kind of looking at it was that you're either one or the other, either convenience store with junk food, all that stuff,
Right.
like the CVS or something, or your health and wellness all the way. So it's like
Right.
that's how we kind of looked at it when we were talking about it.
But you know what I like about what you just said? It kind of stirred my memory. And I wanted to email this to you. You guys have all heard about CVS stopping tobacco sales
Yes.
Mhm.
because they want to concentrate on health and wellness. So you wonder,
Yeah.
what were they concentrating on beforehand?
Profit.
Yeah, they're selling alcohol and
Yeah.
cigarettes. It's like
So I was going to email you and ask you, what do you think? Is that something, because obviously that's something that we were looking at the whole time before CVS decided to stop selling tobacco sales, because now they want to focus on health and wellness, you know? But if you think about it, it's an oxymoron, but we don't know that
They're
it's
actually kind
not.
of hurting themselves as well, because most people there is one CVS out in St. Louis that does sell like alcohol and drink,
Yeah.
and there's always people going there.
Yeah, but now they want to concentrate on health and wellness. So it's kind of interesting. I was going to email it to you. Like, what do you guys think about this idea?
I'm skeptical, but we'll see.
Which part?
The CVS entire change of. We'll see how it works out.
Well, I think that's where the trend is right now, is to be health and well. You know, there's a lot of our Affordable Care Acts now are basically, well, most of the insurances the last 2 years have said that if you are a smoker, your premiums go up a good, 50, 60%.
Right.
You know, we've got employer groups now not hiring people that smoke, and when they do their drug testing, it's nicotine is what they're, so it's sort of like a drug test because they have to pee it now. You can't, you know what I mean? So it's like, but it's interesting because there's also a lot of lawsuits going against certain employer groups too, because it's considered discrimination. So that's another avenue I was trying to figure out. You know, I was like, I wonder how I can use this.
Hmm. healthier than CVS.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've been this I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see, other things.
What's that percentage of sales infections from current customers?
Which one?
We were just wondering if you have like an estimate of percentage of sales and like what sections that discuss your current.
Do you have that kind of data or no? No? Okay.
I'm sure I could call my computer company because everything's in there. I don't know how to take that down. I could, if you email me that question, I can email it to my company.
Okay.
That way, but other than that, I really don't. You know, the company itself makes less than $1 million a year. I think we're at 9 something. So, but I'm gonna say that bulk of the 40 prescriptions a day, I'd like to say about 60 to 70% of them would be prescriptions. And then you've got this room, which is all grant written. I mean, the front store, we just built that up this past summer, so we're probably not going to see a lot of that.
How much do you think that the front stuff does total?
I only started with about $1,500 worth of products, and we've only turned it once just recently. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
How long? When did you start it? Last.
August.
Okay.
But a
This
lot
past
of
August.
yeah.
All right.
But a lot of the delay again is because I couldn't market it. You know,
Yeah.
I got the buy-in from all the RAs. I'm like, okay, great, we finally ordered it. You know, because I only wanted it to come in during move-in sessions.
Yeah.
But once the RAs got it in their hands and they put it up, it had to be taken down because it didn't have approval. So now that's why we literally just turned it once, and you know, we know that it should be turning at least.
And not only that, but you've got that convenience store
Yeah.
right down the way.
Exactly.
That's another thing we see. Like, there's so many other options for the same type of stuff,
Right,
really.
Exactly.
So that's we do, like, I don't know, to be honest, it's like, why,
Yeah.
like, how are you going to compete with like Barnes and Noble where everybody is at compared to this place? Why would they seek this out?
Prices.
Yeah, prices would be it. But the hardest part is the foot traffic isn't here because you've got the Starbucks over there, you've got the Jimmy John's over there. Because no matter what time of the day it's busy.
hmm
We just had Dunkin' Donuts, you know, and it's Dunkin' Donuts. No one really knows it if you're used to Starbucks.
hmm
You know, I'm from the East Coast where we know, you know, that I think if they put Tim Hortons there, it would have been better.
Oh yeah.
You know, because it's more branded in Michigan. Dunkin' Donuts, not so much,
hmm
right?
Sure.
Definitely.
So.
So that's why we were thinking possibly, definitely towards health goods, and at least have something different that people would hopefully seek out. But who knows if there actually people would want that? That's what we'll hope to figure out.
Yeah, and that was primarily, a lot of this was supposed to be for the 11 floors above us because they had suggested that they needed stuff to cook with,
Mhm.
you know, like brownie mixes, and that's kind of like what we brought in, you know, like on the weekends, what, you know, what to make this. From what I understand, on the weekends everything here is closed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Why are you closed on the weekends? Have you tried it?
No. Well, what I used to do is match my hours to Starbucks because I knew if they were open, someone was walking around.
Mhm.
But the hardest part is people would just like. We tried opening probably the first 2 years on the weekend, but you know what?
Nothing.
It wasn't worth it.
Okay.
We were lucky if we saw 3 people, you know. And then if we were open, that would require the post office to come in, and that's the last thing I want to do on a Saturday.
Back to the target market.
Mhm.
You said that you weren't really trying to go after the students then, or you are, because kind of what we
Do
were
we have
talking
the,
about too, for our questionnaire.
syllabus?
it's gonna
Not the
change
syllabus, the other
kind of
thing.
students.
Mhm.
So we want to figure out, you know, what's going to drive people, in
Mhm.
particular students, through your doors.
Right.
So is that something that's going to be okay with you? Is
Oh
that-
yeah, I'd rather. Cause I think students right now are the most. At a lot of my goals now is to kind of now just work with the students. Because for some reason I can relate more, talk more with students than I can with the faculty and staff. One thing that I've noticed, faculty and staff are already used to their own routines. They know if they get off at 4 o'clock, they're going straight home,
Yeah.
and they like to drive, you know. Versus a student, and I've learned from 2 of my other students. If I can develop a relationship with them and they don't want to pay out of pocket, they can work with their parents where we can bill them, and the parents, you know, and the parents will literally tell me, no, it's only for prescriptions, don't let them pick anything else up. And so that's a growing community for us and the students, you know, especially if they have chronic, because we know there are students too that need chronic medication, you know. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I would love it, especially with around here, and that would help also like our HIV awareness too,
Yeah.
or even hepatitis C, all the new upcoming things that, you know, students are exposed to. You know. So yeah.
I think we can all agree that it's awareness, or branding awareness in general. So that's the main thing we're going to look into, definitely. The budget, we just want to make sure we don't want to spend like that. That seems
That
Is
was
that
my max.
that's
As long as it's at a max of $1,000, that's all because I haven't even touched it.
that's yeah, okay.
Because I also have matching dollars from my wholesaler, so which means that I put in 500, they put in 500. That's why I
Okay.
said 1,000.
Okay.
Because that was their matching.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
we could work with some of that, but it's probably not even
Yeah, I think the only thing for budget we're gonna use is pretty much maybe paper and ink.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a
as well
problem.
as maybe something for focus group.
maybe not though, because
Yeah.
I think we can get that for I think we could get it for free
Okay.
to bring people in, feed them pizza or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the food prices.
Yeah, that should
Factor that.
We get free pizza,
On the
so we're good. We're good there.
promoting healthy stuff.
Whatever.
Bring pizza.
Whatever.
It's like I got that. Screw up the pizza.
Other issues. Any from you?
No. I'm just happy that you guys want to work with it.
It's almost like maddeningly encouraging.
Really?
It's almost like no matter what you try to do, there's something in your way.
Oh
It's
yeah,
kind of
that,
like-
that's what I love most. And you know what? There are days though that I always want every time I have to renew my lease. You know, like why do I even bother? But you know what? It's the one or two that I meet. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why I'm here. But it also separates me from why I'm in business and versus not. Because we know if I was in it for all the wrong reasons, you know, there'll be a lot more problems probably in this location. But this is exactly where my passion is. So hopefully, who was that?
Haley.
Is that you? I was like, ooh, that was a weird noise that came out of that thought. You late?
No,
You wanna talk about your chocolate?
yes. Long story short, I frequent it's kind of like a homeopathic.
Yeah, we
place.
talked about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I brought some goodies
Ooh.
that we can discuss, and quite frankly, ever since I found out about this stuff, I've been going every weekend.
Okay.
So just some things. All natural hypoallergenic goat milk soap. It's like $2 a bar.
I heard chocolate. I thought I was
Please don't eat that. Also, similarly, oatmeal complexion bar.
Okay.
I feel like the female market at Wayne
Oh,
State,
yeah.
would definitely go for that. I can take that for you. if you
Actually,
wanna check
no,
it out.
this would be, because isn't that like similar to like Lush, right? That new,
Kind of, yeah, and it's all like natural ingredients.
is
and
it made by like Michigan and Pyramid?
I have a photo of some of the selections. It's got
Okay.
the company on there. This
That'll-
one,
That'll definitely help, you know, everyone here has poor hygiene.
Exactly.
Here's the truth.
Exactly.
Like, especially if they live here, it's, there's the chocolate.
this is actually
That one I can bite
a
into.
protein bar, and it's got like chia and flaxseed in
We
it.
were just talking about that.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, and it's like the whole kind of idea behind it is like ingredients you recognize,
Mhm.
and I found that and thought it was really cool.
It has
So,
omega-3 and 6, so it'll help with our HDLs.
so I thought that'd be really cool. You could get some of the muscle heads on campus to pick that one up.
120 milligrams of sodium.
Anyway,
Yeah,
well,
won't help with hypertension.
Um,
Patrick wants to see
Oh, you want that? You can just keep it.
Oh no, you.
Okay. One of these, I actually bought this. It's like it's just kind of like your run-of-the-mill, all-natural chapstick.
it. Okay.
It's called Desert Essence. I love it. I've stopped using the chapstick brand since I found these,
Right.
and that's retail. I bought it was like $2.99 a stick, which
That's
is
about the same as Burt's
Exactly.
Bees. And Burt's Bees is one of the few things. But if we can go into, because we've got a lot of vegans here on campus now.
What
You
do you?
know, so this products might actually, because you know now that Midtown Detroit is kind of like reinventing themselves. You know, that's where you see all those, you know, the type of culture coming in.
Of course, there's Whole Foods, which would be, but for at least students to be near here, it's
Like,
'cause-
that would-
because why would they come here for that when there's so many other options? Is our thought, but
Exactly. But going with those, if we can market, see, my biggest thing is I think that's great in terms of, especially with people that have psoriasis, eczema.
Sure.
To me, those are like the first things versus doing like the Cetaphils or all that
Exactly.
other stuff. But the next problem with is how do we market that?
I don't care if I have to stand out front for you. I'll put a
Okay.
suit on.
A big soap bar.
Yeah.
Chocolate, call yourself chocolate. Everyone be like, how do I fight that?
So you're running down the street with people chasing me. Another thing, they actually had, I don't know if you're familiar with this brand, obviously not,